Great and beautiful morning and evening to you all, wherever you are joining me at this hour. Welcome to 559 edition of Invest Data Trading Academy Live with Ambrose. Yes, I'll tell you that the global market has opened on a mixed sentiment. Yes, why I say so, I think that some markets are reacting to some positive news coming within their domain, while others are extending even to close lower for the week. Say that yes, this global sell down or global sell off has already affected major markets. It's not just only Nigeria market. Yes, here Nigeria market is just like a coincidence that we are seeing profit taking after the market have rallied for straight 7 months, like I said earlier on Wednesday, and at the same time the threat of Trump alone attacking the terrorists, not Nigeria economy, not Nigeria government, and at the same time also some investors or some traders or any professional investor trying to hold cash and watch the implementation of government capital gain. All these coming together has slowed the market down. And don't forget that I said in one of the classes that between November and the month of January is the most active period for this end of the year seasonality that have showed a pattern in our market all this while. That means we must pay attention to it so that we can stay ahead of the market. Today we are kind of a part two of trading NGX pullbacks and sell-off amidst positive macroeconomic data and positive world earnings. Now that market is pulling back, how will you go about this market? And similar topic in a broader version will be taken tomorrow by holiday between 12 and 1 o'clock tomorrow. But because we don't want investors that have long-term investment objective to panic out of fear. The economy is still very much strong. The companies are operating activity. Liquidity is key, and we are looking forward to see the outcome of what MPC meeting coming in this month, good direction to go, and likely to be that another rate cut we are going to see. That also another thing that will bring fuel to this market again, because liquidity is very important in any market. Yesterday, I can tell you that market on NGS has successfully broke down the 150,000 non-cyclical line below it. And what does that tell you? That means from 56 to what below it. That means almost 6,000 mark or points are also be taken away from this sell-off we are seeing in this period. Where is the next support level is what we're discussing today. Especially what we're discussing trading NGS pullbacks and sell-off amidst positive word. But before that, let's go back to the global economy as usual. We're looking at what is happening in Asia. I think that Asia market is set to close the week in the red, even as continued sell-off in tech companies has also depressed the market, coupled with China trade data that came that also were missed. And don't forget that the trade tension or trade tariff tension between China and US has also been renewed. That also is also what have rattled kind of investors' confidence and direction in that market. As we speak, sell-off has deepened as concern over no valuation in the market. But I will tell you that the shares of the technology shares in Japan and South Korea had led this decline in the initial market as well. Why investors focus on the days on the day on was on the what on China sorry, Chinese trade figure for the month of October. Wall Street have experienced heavy losses overnight, but I'll tell you that this morning, we're seeing a kind of a rebound in a U.S. market and that of Europe trying to look up after we've seen an extension of Tuesday risk-off mode to almost yesterday, but we're seeing that this market in Europe and are remaining a bit unchanged and stable this morning. But I'll tell you that in Asia market are heading forward. Sharp weekly loss because of what? Panic sell-off in tech company, and these tech company are the major indices that have pulled down this market, and that has also affected even some soft like a company in Japan like called software bank group. All of them they released also on Friday also have lost pushed down. Also another chip maker we call Amidst also down by 7%. All these are weighing on this market. South Korea, as mentioned earlier, is heading to over 4.4% loss for the week, and this is a result of what sell-off in tech company. Also, concern of what of a loss toward valuation in this semiconductor and AI sector is part of what is in them because this has meant that the price we are seeing now is not sustainable but even though because of what perception have pushed the prices of AI related companies and also tech companies higher than that. Investors are becoming cautious, and that have compounded what we are seeing as a warning and also as a selling, sell off we are seeing in this different market. But I believe that as also all eyes are still on what on China and US, trade talk, even as concerned tech export, all these are the focus. Even when China trade data came disappointing, and these are all away in that Asia market as we speak. But don't forget that when the market pullback is an opportunity for design investor and smart money that have cash or capital to jump in at a good price. That's why you must pay attention to what is happening in your domain and take advantage of it and at any time. Hong Kong index is still in red, and that of China blue chips index, Shanghai CSI 300, and also Shanghai component. All of them are down, lower this hour. And I'll tell you that despite last week meeting between U.S. President and that of Chinese President, I'll tell you that the recent export control announcement have also underscored that that friction in the tech company as we speak. These are what will happen in this the market of Asia market. We quickly move to see what is happening also in Europe. Europe is also a place I would say Europe, yes, we're seeing stock ending the market over there ending up sharply this morning, which is good, but I'll tell you that on a weekly direction, the Europe market is also likely to close in the red. Even we're seeing a rebound this last trading day of the week. Don't forget, this is the full trading week for the month of November, the 11th month of the year, and the year is gradually winding down. On that, we're seeing that Europe market is still up this morning, higher as expected, as investors digest more of the quarterly earnings that are hitting the market, even when it's heading for a weekly loss. But I'll tell you, this earnings is also giving them a direction. But I'll tell you, I'm concerned over what? Overheated what? Valuation here. These are the issues as we speak. Then when we are coming back to discuss our own in Nigeria, I want to tell you how this valuation, how it concerns you and I, and also what our market is. Is our market overbought? Is oversold? All these are going to discuss. Is the markets on NGX or stock on NGX, are they highly priced? Are they overpriced? Are they underpriced? Are they fairly priced? We're going to discuss all this when we come to what to Nigeria market. But to speak, I tell you that sentiment this morning in Europe market is positive. I tell you that the ADS index in Germany is up by 0.4, and that of CAC 40 in France is also up by 0.3, and that of UK, which is the FTSE 100, is also down by 0.1. I see it's a mixed market, but still generally I think that the European market is up this morning, even when UK market is down. But sentiment was boosted by what? Heavy earnings. Can tell you that's why I say our market, even not coincident, we have seen a heavy earnings in Nigeria market, but because of coincident or kind of things coming together, Trump threat, government plan to implement capital gain, and at the same time, market have rallied for almost 7 months. All this accumulate what is happening. Profit taking is part of my market anytime, any day. But how this sell off, how long will it go? How this profit taking is going to go? Or how investors going to invest? Traders going to take advantage of this pullback? We'll discuss that when we come to the But I continue with the UK market. They say that the earnings from this environment was strong, and that have boosted sentiment. As we speak now, if we look at the Daimler truck, I think that their number came more than expected, better than expected, 40%. These are the things that also beating investors' expectation, and that is that yes, we are seeing good numbers are coming out this way. Also, British Airway, parent, I just was seeing that posted also a mine rise third quarter, profit. These are also the things that also we are seeing. France also, especially the chemical company, also they lowered its full year guidance amidst what weak demand in several key markets. These are also I also feel that at the end of the day, yes, global market is heading for a weekly loss, which I've told you earlier. As also all eyes are seen in US tariff, 7 months ago, is also trying to navigate over it, or see that they are finding direction directly. But I can tell you that Germany economy is likely looking up marginally, and we believe that if France also follows suit, might see reward in that zone. But I'll tell you that all the markets in that zone are heading for a weekly loss, even as they are rebounded this morning to the last trading day of the week. Yes, also we expect that German export rose in September. Good news is the economic data that are coming from Germany. That is a good news against one 0.5 increase in the previous or forecasted earlier. This is a good one. Why British house price also see that by stronger than expected 0.6 monthly term in October figure forward for mortgage lenders. But I tell you, these are the things that we also look at the oil price edging up. I've mentioned it earlier in Asia market. Oil price is also looking up gradually this Friday as we track the second consecutive loss on the worry about what about excess supply or no all these are what's also showing down the supply amidst slowing US demand. Don't forget that US and China are the biggest economy that demand about. Now that we can see that Trump is said to that oil price will remain below 65.70, that will also help them to control what inflation. To speak that, I'll tell you that no that the Brent oil is also around the 64.11%, and with that of US Western also crude oil also trading around 60 by 1.3% up as we speak now. But I believe that the oil price is also expect to go up if but the way it's going this season we're seeing that because of seasonality consumption but prices are remain relatively low. That also helped also to reflect on prices at the end of the day. Finally, because of our time, let's look at what is happening in US and come back to our market. US market this morning is looking up in the green. Good news for investors in that environment as a lot of one of the electric vehicle company dishing out about a $1 trillion payback for approval. This is also part of what is also moving that market in that area. And I'll tell you that stocks are looking, after previous days of pullback. This Friday morning, sorry, not Monday morning, Friday morning, last day of the week, we're seeing that stocks are looking up again as the Tesla shareholders approve a massive pay package for their CEO and about 1.3. These are the things that also as a billionaire target a new era for electric car giant. I believe that the US is set to see a reduction in flight traffic in 40 airports across the country because of what the long government shutdown. Why the media report says that the White House will not allow Nvidia to sell its scaled down artificial intelligence chips to China. We don't know how it's going to go, but let's watch and see. But I'll tell you that the major indices in US at this hour, is up, suggesting yet another boom of volatility that could face another ahead of what the last trading session, which is today, and also expect that to fuel concern of what of elevated valuations that have been the major concern across this matured market. Dan June is up by 0.2 and S&P 500 is up by 0.3 and Nasdaq is up by what 0.4. And I'll tell you that this main averages on the Wall Street sank on Thursday, the previous day, weighing down by decline in tech companies, but resuming sell-off on Tuesday that lasted yesterday, which also has been the driver in most of the other market I've mentioned earlier before now as well fear of violation. A surge in spending on artificial intelligence by several mega cap tech play has also been the dominance over the wider market, wider equity market as we speak. And these are the things that also don't forget that US also the federal government has been shut down for a long period in the history. This is the longest shutdown that America have which witnessed, but still the economy is still trying to work. The state of the economy is trying to adjust. Policymakers are looking at the interest rate cut, asset of figures to make decision. All these are weighing on the market. But what I'm surprised that this morning the US market is also rebounding, even when some pointers numbers are showing what a picture of a weakened labor market being dragged down in the past by spark in payoff and as also companies move to adopt AI and cut costs. Traders are also trying to weigh and also understand and analyze the corporate earnings that hit the market at third quarter numbers are rounding up also straight. They have seen that out of 424 companies in S&P, I'll tell you that that's about 83% have posted their third quarter so far and also most of them have beat expectation, which is also good. It's also important to know what is happening in the economy. If that is a no, it tells that the economy is not doing badly. If quoted companies there are posting positive number that beat expectation, it's also a good one. Like I said earlier, the shareholders have approved no $1 trillion no package forward for CEO Elon Musk, despite dissent from some investors concerned about the scope and effect of the award. FC, is the let's see how it goes. US US flight costs loom as many of the airlines, like I said earlier, are also packed down because of what? Because of a prolonged government shutdown. These are the things that's also trending. But I believe that US also looking at the China export shrink, that the thing also as reviewed by the data that came. But I think earlier about oil price. Oil price is still up marginally this morning, even when it's heading for another 2 weeks low at the end of the day. Back here towards to what is happening in Africa. No matter Africa is our own continent, we have to don't joke with it. Look at what is happening there to take advantage of what is happening in the environment, and also as investors, how can we get into it? I'll tell you that yes, the market in Africa, I mean some of the markets here are still looking up. I'll tell you that the NGX, as we speak now, is still flat, also in the red. Like I told you earlier at the beginning of this class that NGX have broken down the 150,000 mark index. That means we are looking for where is the next support level. Is it at 145 or 148? Let's keep our finger crossed as we look to see the outcome of MPC meeting come the third week of November as well. Heading toward to the mid November by next week. Today is already 7. What we to see by mid next week what could also be happening. As we speak now, our topic today, as I've said earlier, is trading trading NGX pullbacks and sell-off. But before we go that, we'll look at what is the market data as we speak. As we speak now, I'll tell you that the market data as review shows that yes, investors are really trying to also take profit and sell down their position. But despite that situation, we're seeing that the market, there are some stocks that are still looking up as we speak. We're seeing buying interest, in Champ PLC, buying interest in Ella League after they've come again with a new date for their fat behind the figure, and also approaching market to raise about 200 and is it not 37 billion or 235 billion as we speak now. We're seeing also buying interest in Guinness Nigeria, and also we're seeing Computer Warehouse Group or CWG also coming up, as Net Bank also marginally, but we're also sell off or profit taking in local stock and blue chip company that are way down more aside about almost 22 losers as we speak now against just 9 gainers as we speak. I see that the market is being dominated by selling, profit taking, and all not happening in the market as we speak right away. Yes, we'll come back to our topic. Like I just said, I'm just giving you this, the market data right now. We'll look at our topic for today so that we can do justice to them, extending what we discussed on last week. Sorry, I said last week on Wednesday. This week, today is Friday. That is Wednesday. As we stand now, the market is reading 149,760.70, down by almost 230.5 basis points, representing almost 0.4. Sorry, as we speak. The range of the market right now has been between 149,760.45 to 150,058.16. This is the market range for today. Yes, we're back to our topic today: trading NGX, pullbacks and sell-off. The first thing that you need to do here is always tell you that you need to look at call up your data. Let's go and call up our indicators. It will help us for this study. That's why I'm calling it up now, so that candlestick is already there. Let's look at the index action. Let's call up other indicator. Call our MACD for momentum. Let's call money flow, demand and supply. And at the same time, we look at what our moving average, which is our T line. Our T line will not jump with it. You can use 50 days moving average. You can use 20 days moving average. But for invest data, our own moving average that we use there is exponential. 8 days exponential. It's called T line for us. It serves as resistance. It serves as support. It also serves as what to show or review a strong momentum and a weak momentum in the market. It have a lot of things for us. That's why we don't joke with our T line when it comes to what trading using technical analysis. I told you earlier that our market is correcting. That's why I say pullback and sell off. In this midst of what of positive macroeconomic data and that of what corporate earnings, because of what fear of statement of Trump attacking Nigeria or threatening also to attack. No, not when I say Nigeria is not going to fight our government or economy. No, they are looking at attacking insurgents and insecurity in the economy, coming to help Nigeria. Only the way we see it, the way we interpret it, and that have triggered the kind of panic we're seeing in the market, coupled with plan to implement capital gain that is almost around the. These are the things, and also market have rallied for 7 months. Put no market remain up. It's about to correct. You expect that the correction to come not in this dimension that we're seeing this panic, because of things coming together. That means in all, it's about momentum and also volatility. But to trade volatility, you need to filter the noise in the market. Filter that noise, you need your price action. That's why I tell you that you must pay attention to price action. These are part of what we discussed on Wednesday, or it's a continuation of that. If you want to do price action, you need to look at this. What is the candlestick saying? Or candlestick play a major role in this, to interpret or display information by the attitude of the people as shown in the price movement of the stock. That's why you must look at your price action. Totally, I tell you that if you understand your price action, you can easily look at the attitude of the people, understand the sentiment in the market, because it will go a long way to help you to understand what is happening in the market. And that's why I say every investor must understand how to use technical analysis. If you want to be a successful investor, you might not be an expert or an advanced, but understand the basic of technical analysis, to look at the sentiment, to look at the demand and supply, to look at the money flow. This thing that will help you. Plus your fundamental, you're able to make informed investment decision. It's very, very important. Don't look away from technical analysis. Yes, it's a pattern that you say, oh, price repeat itself. We agree. But that pattern is what you need, because it's the same set of people that are in the market and they react the same way. As we are seeing people reacting this way now, once another information comes, they will come back to the market. That's why if once you understand that, as in your basic analysis, it also help you what to do at the right time to see, is it a bullish pattern you are seeing in the market? Are you seeing a bearish pattern? All this, and that's why you must identify the main trend in the market. The main trend in the market. What is the primary trend? After that, you use your higher time frame, to see that you now use your trend line. Also, like I said, your MACD or your moving average, just as we have used also like this today. But if you look at this charts now, to start with, it's turning a pullback. This pullback is already there, but you can see at this point here, you can see that we have not seen a breakdown from. That means it's like you see a double bottom we're seeing here, and here. Look at it here. This is where it stopped yesterday. You can see the same place is where the market is this morning. You need to pay attention there. Around it is going to be an extension. But I'll tell you that another opportunity here, that here is another strong place to look at the market. If the market break out this point, 145, 145, we're looking at 140. That means if market are broken out the 150,000 mark, yes, you have to look to where is the next support level. The next support level I'm seeing first away is about 147. Then before you can see it here. But what is it that you as a trader investor always say that you know what we call Fibonacci and also the value area. And I told you the value area in this class that is between the resistance and the support level is the value area. Here and here, you can see this place up here, the peak here, the market start coming down, and where it is now the support level. In between there is a value line, a value area. Sorry, that value area, pay attention to it. Is the market trying to break out the support level, or is there anything that was holding market? Now, looking at the T line, you know that naturally that the market is weak because it's selling below the T line. That means it's a weak market. Also, if you come down and look at your money flow is almost reading at 50 as to speak at this hour. MACD is bearish also already in the market, even on a daily chart. You can use other time frame. But one thing is very important, that if you are going to trade, pullback, if you are going to trade sell off in the market, you must first of all identify the main trend in the market, which also is a trend. The trend can be an uptrend, can be a sideways trend, or a downtrend. As we speak now, our market is experiencing what is making a can see this lower low we are seeing here. Can see that it's coming down, even like this higher low of protocol. It's coming down here already, go down. From the peak of what almost 156 coming down now as we speak today. It's almost trading between 149 and 151. You can see it here for me. Market is trying to find a base here. But yesterday, if you see at the market close, we saw about 43% buy and 57% sell. It's an improvement compared to Wednesday and Tuesday, where we're having 5% buy, 95% sell, 10% buy, 90% sell. Now, is it that people are taking advantage of the pullback to buy into volume, to look at blue chips that are selling at a discount? These are things, but you as a trader that want to trade the pullbacks on the sell-off, you must pay attention to what identify the main trend. And as we speak now, the primary trend as we speak now is the market is coming down. The secondary, the another one is that market is still high. But that's why what you do that with the help of a trend line. Let me just say, after using your different time frame, use a higher time frame to look at it, because you want to see what is happening on a monthly time frame. Looking at them, you can see on the monthly time frame, the market is still high. It's still making high, on the high side. You can see the market is growing. You can see it here. Then you now come back and see on the weekly chart what is the market doing. That is on the longer time frame. We are saying what is the market doing on the longer. But yeah, you can see on the longer time frame, probably the market is set to break down the T line. And also, if you draw a trend line like this, what's market doing like a confirm, a down market? I will say, how will you say, on the weekly chart trade this pullback? Let's say, there's the first, this is a resistance here. That this resistance have to support. You pay attention to it, and that is around what? Around 146. Don't forget that I mentioned 147. You must pay attention when market break at this 146 down. That is another side, and this is what we are looking at what on a longer time frame. Now on what on a weekly, I can see also that momentum also is trying to turn down here after we have seen like almost 2 weeks now low negative now. Yeah, last week and this week that's heading toward to close low. But I tell you that money flow is still around 78, which is strong on a weekly chart. But because of the short time, I want to look at a daily chart too. Daily chart market is already giving way. You can see that even the volume on the daily chart are very, very small. You can see it here, not compared to where the market was going up, but still we're seeing volume coming out gradually, but still below the average traded volume in most of the day. But now the market is coming down, with low volume, and but something is happening. The market is going. Only few stocks that are resistant, especially the high cap stocks. But I think that some high cap stocks are also giving way. Lot of what either profit taking because they have rarely depleted well for investor. But I tell you, most of these high cap stocks have posted positive number that should not send panic to you. Let's continue because of our time. Even I will continue this topic also next week because we'll have about almost 4 points. I'm only just on 1 point now, identifying the main trend. Then use your higher time frame to look at, and also use your trend line and your MACD or your moving average, and which is also I said the T line what we are using now, and also only trade with the trend when you are trading a pullback market. You are trading kind of a pullback market. Trade only trend. Identify that trend and go with the trend. Because let's say trend is your friend. Then another thing is that you must wait for the pullback, to have a support level before you can continue jumping in. Just like what I will just show sign here that you can let me just draw this line here because I know I'll continue this class next week, but I've not really finished. If you take if you draw a line here to 117, not what I say 147. Okay, you can keep it here. Yeah, keep it here 147 there. You can see it here. Then also within also we take this line again. I know what so that it become clearer for us all. I also have another one here. This like the peak here. Yeah, you can see it here now. And see what I'm saying. You can see where it's heading to. Now, this is the first one. You can see where it is now. That's where the market is now. I'm also even that another support level I'm looking at is that this 148. You can see where the line is now, 148. Now, let's say how far for the market rebound. With this region is what we call the value area, a breakout. But here we're saying that until you let the market touch support level. This is for the general market. You can also do the same thing for individual stock. Once you touch that support level, that is where you can make decision. And you wait also for the price to reverse. And that's why candlestick information is very important. You might see candlestick we call the hammer. When market is going down, you saw a hammer. What does it do? Invert a hammer or invert. All these things are very, very important that you pay attention to. But I'll tell you that you must wait for what for a pullback to what a support level is very, very important. Wait for the price to reverse. and look forward the key level that at least are we are going to stop today because of our time. We'll have about other 2 points to discuss, which we're going to likely do on Monday as we continue our discussion on how to take advantage of NGX pullback and buy into value and do proper sector rotation, targeting leaders in that industry with strong fundamentals and also knowing where money is entering and where money is leaving. On this note, I will say thank you. Before I round up the class, I also remind you about the comment. No, invest 2026. Take advantage of it because no, the registration will open officially today. So I can go online and register for the coming Invest 2020. That is called Trader and Investor Summit for 2026. That we're going to take action, plan, outlook, and also buy into the world, into the right stock at the right time, and other sectors or other investment window that you can take advantage in preparation of what 2027, and also to balance your portfolio with different investment window. All will be shared in this program come December 6th by God. On this note, I say see you. Bye.